Lesotho wants its lands back from South Africa. They say South Africans stole the land. They need to give it back. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. The sun is really good today, but hey, it's very hot. Trust me, it's crazy. I've been wearing shorts for the past 12 days in a row because it's just insane. Now, we got some good news here, but before we get to the good news, my name is Zack. Thank you very much for stopping by. So you want to know about Africa? You are at the right place. Okay, you want to know about what's happening in Uganda, in Rwanda, in Tanzania, in Kenya? You are at the right place. Don't mind the other channels on YouTube. They're lying to you. And by the way, you want to be here, right? The host looks good, always on point. It brings the stuff together just the way you like it, and bash you at the same time. How about that? How nice is that? Aren't you entertained? Let's go. Now we're going to Lesotho. Here's Lesotho. It's a beautiful country. I've never been before, but I'm planning. Maybe if you want to sponsor me, I'll come and visit. I heard about snow and stuff. I would like to come and visit Lesotho and also make a nice video, a nice movie about it. I think it's going to be great. If you want to invite me, I will appreciate that. But you must have a car, okay, and some connections, because I want to see nice places. I don't want to come there and just sleep with the chickens and the bulls. No, I want to see nice things. Anyway, let's get back on track. Now, this is South Africa. This is Lesotho. Now, as you can see, what do you notice? When you look at the map, you see Lesotho and South Africa. What do you see? Yes, Lesotho is inside South Africa. It's an inland locked country. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Because how can a country be inside of another country? It makes no sense. Right. Now, historically, Lesotho was not a country. Neither was South Africa until white people came. That's when they claimed some land for themselves and separated other people that used to be cousins and brothers and creating countries. That's why you see all these countries here. Since 1884, that's what they did in Berlin. They sliced Africa into small boxes that they call countries. That is why today you see Nigerians, you see Ugandans, you see Tanzania, even though Nigerians are very different from everybody else. I'm just kidding. Congolese, you see Malawians. It's because they sliced countries over there. Now, there is an MP from Lesotho who went to the United States of America and went to lay charges at the United Nations against South Africa, saying South Africa should return their land. So the MP's name is Dr. Tsepo Lipolo. He took a flight to the US and said Lesotho should be returned, meaning a big land of South Africa should be returned to Lesotho. They're talking about 210,000 square meters of land that is in South Africa belongs to Lesotho. That's about 3 times the size of actual Lesotho. And they said this land goes from KwaZulu-Natal to the Free State all the way to Eastern Cape. And the land belongs to Lesotho. It should be given back to Sotho people. He also says about the Boer, by taking that big chunk of Lesotho, incorporating it into South Africa, they have taken 60% of Basotho people. Now, apparently this man is sponsored by Israel. Yes, and we're going to find out about that very quickly. But let's dive into this to understand. Okay, as you can see, many people used to live together until countries were created. As you can imagine, it creates problems because then your cousins are on the other side in a different country while your nieces are on the other side in a third country. So that's a problem. Now, I did mention Israel in this thing. Israel being behind this MP in his claim to get the land back from South Africa. Now, let's find out what are the reasons why Israel would be behind this person. I mean, Israel used to be a very good friend of South Africa. What has occurred? Why would Israel sponsor somebody that wants to take land from South Africa? What could be the reason? Reason number one, retribution for South Africa going to the ICJ. You remember, South Africa went to accuse Israel of committing genocide against... Yeah, that was something that many people neglected until it came to life. And trust me, when you accuse somebody at that level, they're not going to like you. Israel is going to do anything they can to make South Africa pay back. And Israel has got one of the best, if not the best security organization in the world. It's called the Mossad. They are very astute, very prepared. They know everything. The other reason why they could be wanting the land from South Africa could be to block the agenda of the expropriation without compensation. A few days back, South Africa voted a brand new law that allows the government to take the lands back from white people. Just reminding you that 72% of the land in South Africa belongs to white people. So the blacks are trying whatever they can to get some of the land back, at least. And that was a shocker because Donald Trump came very harshly saying, if you dare do that, we're going to show you, in a very nice political way. But that's what he said. If you're trying to take the land from the white people, we're going to show you.
The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land.
Now, could this be a strategy by taking the land back from South Africa, avoiding the land to be redistributed to black people? By the land being allocated to Lesotho, it's going to still be within the hand of white people. Now, the third reason could be a legitimate reason, because this goes back in time. Even though today Israel is using this MP to speak out, Lesotho has spoken about the possibility of taking its lands back a long time ago. They've been discussing the situation.
I've been telling every person that land belongs to us. For example, I can tell you, my grandfather was born in 1875. And this is the very same man that was a regimental sergeant major that conquered the Free State and under Lord Kitchener of Britain.
Lesotho people in South Africa, unfortunately, are considered as illegal immigrants. There's a lot of them in South Africa. I mean, how can they not be in South Africa? There are countries inside South Africa. There's no border like that. There's no walls or something you have to jump. You can just walk and you're inside the land already. And unfortunately, they need the passport to cross the border. And according to Lesotho's account, the land they're walking on is their land. So they shouldn't be called illegal immigrants. Now, let me give you context. One of the biggest tribes in Lesotho are called Basotho. Now, Basotho are also found in South Africa. It's the same people. They speak the same language.
Going to Lesotho becomes a problem for us, especially in December, because we will have to cross illegally at the border. We are pleading with the Lesotho government to have mercy on us as Basotho and do away with these borders.
Lesotho has a group of people that called Amarasha. These Amarasha are very strong. They're considered by some people as bad people. They have guns and weapons. I cannot take my position. Don't expect me to say they're bad people. I don't know what they are. You know. So they are considered by some people as very bad people. They do bad things. They are called Amarasha. In Lesotho, it's called Russians. And this gang has been active since the early 1940s. For decades, they had operated around gold mine, protecting illegal mining rackets. So as you can imagine, if these people that are, as from record, very courageous and very brave, were equipped by Israel to do things that will do harm to other people within the land that is called South Africa, claiming it as being their land, this could be a very bad situation in Southern Africa. And this is not something anybody wants to see. Lesotho people, Amarasha, fighting South Africans will not be a nice view. When you leave Lesotho going into South Africa, which is naturally the same land, to talk to people that speak your language and then being told that you don't belong, you can understand why somebody would feel some type of way. And especially speeches like this.
Out of that particular number, from the undocumented as it were, the leading nationality is the Basotho nationals. And there we are talking about 38,000 of them. So meaning that from the 50,000 we are talking about.
When somebody speaks like this, you can understand why a Sotho person will feel triggered. Which on the other hand makes sense because he's just doing his job as a government representative for South Africa, protecting South Africa's interest. Now, Lesotho people are the people that in most cases go do illegal mining in South Africa, next to Mozambicans and Zimbabweans. Now, to South Africa, that is perceived as illegal mining. And I'm speaking for Lesotho people. Don't come for me. I'm speaking based on how they believe. So if you come, I will slap you if you come here with your... Okay, let's back on track. For Lesotho people, that is their land. That was not what you call South Africa. Okay, so they have the rights to go underground. That is what they believe. But politically today, it makes no sense because that land is not Lesotho, it's South Africa. Now, this is an interesting conversation because back in time, Thabo Mbeki and Mosisi had a discussion about the situation. The goal was, let's see how we can make it legal for people from Lesotho to come into South Africa without necessarily needing any special papers. trying to make things easy. Let's sort of ignore the colonialist border lines because it makes no sense to have a country inside another country. But then later on, the idea was dumped because, that's what happens usually when government change. So Thabo Mbeki agreed to the idea of letting Lesotho people come into South Africa. Now the question is, just because Thabo Mbeki agreed on that, does it mean he's right? Question mark. Thabo Mbeki is not necessarily always right. He has said many things that are also wrong. So the news says Israel funded Lesotho to get South African land. It has come to light that the Lesotho MP who traveled to the United Nations headquarters to try to get Lesotho land back from South Africa is funded by Israel. So as you can see, the war is on between Israel and South Africa. Let me just remind you here, a couple of days ago, the South African president and the Rwandan president were going at each other. They were going to finish one another. And then a day later on, a foreign minister from Israel met the foreign minister of Rwanda in a discussion, probably on how to give Rwanda weapons and things they need to crush South Africa. Why is that? As you know, Rwanda took Israel to court. So this is just the beginning. And again, Donald Trump promising to cut aid to South Africa if they take land from white people. It's not necessarily inspired by Donald Trump. There is Elon Musk, and maybe because Donald Trump is a very good friend of Israel, it's a way for them to get back to South Africa on behalf of Israel for taking them to court. So according to the report, I'm not the one saying it. The report is saying it. So if you want to be angry at the report. Don't, because I would... So according to this report, okay, people from Lesotho come to South Africa because they don't have lands anymore. Okay, the land that's supposed to be theirs, where they could farm, where they could do agriculture, was embedded in South Africa. That's how they feel. That's how they feel. I'm not saying that's the fact. I'm saying that's how they, because you guys are not intelligent. A lot of you here, you're completely... Did you hear what I said? They feel that a lot of the land that is in South Africa belongs to them. That's the land where they could have farmed. They feel it doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. I'm just reporting what this camp say and what that camp say. Don't come for me like the other people came for me when I was trying to speak about the subject. Don't be like that. So my question is very simple here, fellas. Is Israel coming for South Africa? How can South Africa protect itself from this? Because South Africa is trying to take the lands back from white farmers who own 72% of the land. Is this a way to hit them back? Let's also claim that the big chunk of land in South Africa doesn't belong to them. How about we ask Lesotho to claim its land back from South Africa? Now, how do you find a solution to that? Should South Africa and Lesotho have an agreement where they allow each other to enter each other's country without necessarily having big chunk of papers to show at the border? Will this make things easy? Are Lesotho people close to South African people? Absolutely. I don't know if there's anybody closer to them than Lesotho people. They're the same people. Absolutely the same people. Now, some Zulus here will come and say, no, you're not the same. Anyway, we expect that. But hey, realistically, this kind of problems is found in many places in Africa, where people originating from the same kingdom finding themselves in different countries because somebody slashed the nation. Well, this makes sense in many cases, but this is not necessarily your case. Okay? So don't try to borrow other people's problem and make it yours. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. Is South Africa in danger? Should South Africa arrange with Lesotho, to find a way to operate, to function, to work together? Because they are, if you look at the map, I don't know, it's just scary to say it. I know you don't like it, but how are they not the same people? I don't know. You let me know. God bless. Is Lesotho spoken in Lesotho and the Lesotho spoken in South Africa next to Lesotho different or what? Now, to finish, if the land is to be given back to Lesotho, should it be given because this guy went to the United Nations sponsored by Israel to get the land back? If that's the case, then that's defeat the purpose because it's not being done for the African people. It has been done for the interest of other people. God bless.